Hello, Forecaster here again, and we are back for episode 79 of the Railcraft server Let's Play. And I just finished clearing out the remaining lava from the slag pile. So this is cooled down completely. I had before I started. And I collected most of the lava. Unfortunately, we had a casualty that was this output tank. This input tank here. I was mining an obsidian block here, and when it broke, I hit the tank, and it didn't take many hits or much time to break it, unfortunately, and it when it broke, lava flowed over it and destroyed it. So that's a little unfortunate, to say the least. But oh well. I apparently picked up some coolant. I don't know where that came from. I'm going to put it into this tank here. They get a bunch of lava. I wonder if you can use an overheated reactor to make lava out of stone blocks. So, anyway, let's clear out this remaining stuff, some of which I placed. Most of the crag rock I placed to block lava flow, as well as these, of course. So it looks like the entire reactor has been destroyed, except for the special blocks, which are apparently it doesn't destroy tile entities, which these would be, of course, but it does destroy regular blocks. So that's good to know. I guess that means it would be you could make the entire reactor, except the corners, of course, out of these. So basically have 3x3s on each side of these special blocks, which won't be destroyed, but you'll still lose the corners. Now I suspect that I'm going to have to make a bunch of these. You can see the shape that it used to have on the floor here, because there aren't any foam blocks underneath. That was one block too many in this direction. But at least now I can finally rebuild this thing, which is good, and hopefully improve the safeguards to prevent this happening again, ideally. And I might try to put something above here that allows me to have water flow down, have a water reservoir above, which I can flip a switch to have levers retract or something like that, that causes water to flow down to easier to more easily clear this out in case it happens again, which it might. I am thankful, though, that the system basically has a built-in safeguard where when the casing melts and is destroyed, the fluid reactor stops working, which means that it stops the redstone signal from actually being put into the reactor, which stops it, which is probably the only reason it didn't explode and destroy the entire reactor. Although that can happen if it heats up quick enough. before the casing actually starts melting enough to be deactivated. And I actually did have enough of these to rebuild the reactor completely, which I honestly didn't expect. Oh, and it stored some heat as well, apparently. And it should be outputting. Well, that's probably a bit limited. Yeah, it's because of this, so it's a bit limited. Is it actually doing anything? It says it's outputting heat. But it doesn't actually seem to be... Oh, no, it is. Okay. So... You are off for some reason. That's weird. That's probably that bug, I guess. These should be disabled because the reactor manager is not running. But everything should be fine. The only thing that is missing is the circuit that was here that went from Eve. We need to replace that. And then the circuit to run the reactor. Man, that is a bit annoying. We can finish these upgrades now. Still need to make some more flint. Did I? I didn't bring any. I didn't take any gravel, did I? Damn it. I guess I have to go back to the base. Get the gravel. I did realize, though, that I can power the macerator for a bit with backpacks that I have. I have a couple in here. So that's good. Because I don't have to make the transformers for that. Okay. How many did I say I needed? 40, no, 28. So I need 5. Just 5. I think. Probably. I guess I could have grabbed an entire stack or something, or as much as I had. I didn't look. Put the rest in the digging backpack. But oh well. Okay. Now we should be able to finish upgrading these 2 machines. No. Okay. Fortunately, you can change your mind if you're fast enough. Okay. Let's plunk this down here. We'll put those in. We'll grab one of these. And then that can process. And we'll put those in. Don't have any of my speed upgrades on me. So once we have those, we should be able to... Right, we also need 8 iron plates. Should be coming along shortly. Okay. Perfect. There we go. And there's our 8 plates. And then we can put that. And then we're going to need 2 of these, which we'll put there. And then we have the rotary macerator. And to collect this. There, and then we get our rotary macerator, and then we have that, and we'll put does it need to be, it needs to be IC2 sulfur. Well, that's mildly annoying. That turns back into Railcraft sulfur. Okay, so that's not an or dictionary recipe, which it really should be. I guess I'm going to have to fix that so that works. So let's put the rotary macerator there. So now these are speed or tier 2, all of them, and then the ore washing plant will be as well. The thermal washer. I guess what I can do in the meantime is we'll head back to the old base. I think I should have gunpowder there, but I'm going to grab 7 of those. Anyway, just in case I don't. So I guess the fuel rods were destroyed. I'm not sure how that happened, actually. That's a bit weird. They shouldn't be able to... They don't accept heat. They produce heat. But somehow they were lost when the reactor overheated. Because Eve didn't have them. Which means I basically lost some plutonium. Now, hopefully I have enough to recreate those 4 dual rods. Otherwise, I will have to run at a lower level for a while. Like I did in the beginning, I suppose. But that is annoying. That's a bit of a setback. But I guess that will motivate me into improving the failsafe so that this hopefully does not happen again. I'm not entirely sure how it did happen to begin with. Because the reactor program should have realized that something was wrong and shut down. That's pretty annoying, as I've probably mentioned a few times by now. Can you can make blueprints with Super Circuit Maker, can you? That is an empty map. What? Okay then. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with this stuff. I might want to convert this to a locomotive as well, I guess. That's a potential solution to that. Well, I say solution. It's not a huge deal if I leave this stuff here. Probably. But it would be more convenient to have the products delivered to the new base. Maybe they can. Maybe it can share a line with the water train, and we can set up some signaling for that. That would probably be a good plan. Maybe. What was I doing? Yeah, blueprint. That's just lapis, which I have in the locker, or in the drawers in the new base. So we'll head over there again now that we have the sulfur. Still need to fix the tooltip of the induction heater and figure out which level it's at properly. I think it was actually medium, which would be tier 2, or maybe it was tier 1. I don't remember, which is why I need to retest that. Right, so now we should be able to do this. Get that, a thermal washer, and this of course still needs water, but it should allow this system to be faster if there's a lot to process, which is nice. But it will be slightly slower if there is just a few items. Now, ow, I'm cold. Dang it. Maybe I should take one of these heaters up to the workshop place. Put it up there so we have heat going forward. Put it there. Lever. Now, hopefully I should be heating up. Okay, so we need 8 of you. And then we're going to need 4 iron ingots. And we're going to need a bit of redstone. I wonder if you can actually have something input directly into the workbench. Oh, you can. Nice. Okay. So what I'm going to do then is rearrange this a little bit. We'll have you there, but I want you to face up, which I guess is that direction. Well, I can't quite see. And then we'll remove this, which actually had the cable mold in it, right? And then we'll break and replace you, so you face the right direction. And now the products of this will be put directly into the workbench instead. So yeah, that's lovely. Okay. Empty map. And the lapis gets us a blueprint. And I still haven't moved the stuff from the move the super circuit maker stuff over here that I have. The base. Okay. What do I do? Well, I guess I can put this chest over here. Wonder if a robot can use fluid cells. That might be a better way of storing, because you can store fluid cells in drawers, and they're probably a bit more space efficient than these limited tanks we have available currently. Actually, I guess a more proper way of doing that would be to use a canning machine and then use a transposer to take cells from a from surrounding. Instead of having tanks here, we could have drawers, say, well, 1 by 1 would work, or 2 by 1s. And then the transposer could take, although the tricky part about that really is getting, the problem with that is that you can't put a partially filled cell back into the drawer. So if you don't use an entire bucket's worth exactly, then you'll have some remaining fluid that you can't put away. Although I guess how, what is the storage capacity? Does it say 32 stacks per drawer for a 1 by 1? 1 by 2 is 16 stacks. 16, and these stack up to 64, right? That's 16 by 64 is quite a lot. how many buckets is that? I'm going to... Actually, I guess I do have a calculator here. Don't know what that was. 16 times... no. 16 times 64. I was about to write 34 for some reason. That's 1,000 or 1,000 buckets, which is way more than fits into one of these. And if we use a 1x2 drawer, or 2x1, what I could do is use the top slot to store full cells, and then use the bottom one to store a single partially full cell. And then what I would probably do is have actually, that's a bit tricky. I think the best option is to use the transposer and but how would you get the fluid back? Because the canning machine, I'm kind of brainstorming on camera now, which I don't do a lot. The canning machine is one way only per machine. So you have to manually toggle it in the interface to change the direction. I'm talking about the Industrial Craft 2 one, of course. So it empties. So basically I would have it like this tank, but I would have the canning machine in between and then have it output into this tank. But no, it would actually have to be more complicated than that. Actually, I think I would need a robot, because that could probably, if it can use the cells properly, if that works, it could dump the entire contents into here, and then I could have a transposer in between here and then another tank, and that would move the exact amount of fluid needed for the requested operation. And then the robot would pick up the remaining what remains. The trickiest part with that, though, is that the robot will need a wireless network card, and the controller, this thing, would also need a wireless network card, and this would need to send commands to the robot to tell it what to do, which isn't too bad, but it's an extra layer of complexity, I guess, on top of what is happening now. But I think that is the best solution. The solution with just using a transposer would actually require two transposers, one to move the items with the cells around and extract them, and then you would need a canning machine, basically, one to extract and one to put the fluid back into cells. I think that would be way too complex. It'd probably be easier to program because it doesn't require a wireless interface. You can have this controller control everything, but it would increase the footprint of the device, of the machine, by a lot, because you need a bunch extra machines. You need a bunch of extra transposers. It'd be more tanks. So yeah, I think I'm going to go the robot route, and I'll have to redesign this entire thing. Basically, anything on this side of the tank, we're going to have to make a robot, and I'm going to start building this in creative mode in my test world, of course, because I don't want to experiment in survival. That would be a bit silly. But yeah, I think that would improve things a lot. It would solve my fluid storage concern, because I have a lot of iron, for example, and a bunch of copper, more than fits into this tank. So yeah, although all of this, of course, like I said before, hinges on the fact that the robot is capable of using fluid cells properly, like a player. That is, right-clicking to empty them. Or wait, no, it's shift-click to both. Right, yeah, it's shift-clicking with an empty cell to grab fluid, and shift-clicking with an empty cell to put the fluid back. So it needs to be able to shift-click with the cells properly, basically, because just right-clicking doesn't do anything. So if it can do that, we're all set. And we have reached the end of the episode, most of which has been mostly me rambling and brainstorming, which I hope you didn't mind too much. And I'm going to go, between this episode and the next, I'm going to go into my test world, and I'm going to experiment a bit with the robot, see if it can use the cells. And if it can, I'm going to start constructing the new version of the auto casting system. And then once that is done, I guess I'm going to do all the updates to the program off camera as well. And then once it's done, as usual, we're going to come on here, and we're going to go over the changes to the program, and we're going to execute the changes to the physical machine. And I don't know how long that will take, the creative building, that is, and designing, problem solving, which it'll most likely involve. But so we might have to have some filler episodes in between. But we'll see. So with that, I will see you in the next episode.